Okay, so I'm going to try out Safari again and try out some web pages. So let's try Yahoo over here. So trying it at the same time. Hopefully I don't mess up. You can see it takes a little over a second for iPad 2 to load up, but the iPad Air loaded instantaneously. Let's try loading another page. You can see this one ended up loading instantly, but this one loaded up the main page pretty quickly. Let's go back. Let's see about see this one has with videos in it. The iPad Air loaded pretty quickly. This one took a second or two longer to finish. So let's try playing the videos.
After just the first Texans practice, Wade Phillips has already put his stamp on his new team.
I want to make it a game type situation where they go offense and they go defense.
So as you can see, performance is pretty comparable. The iPad 2 is a little slightly slower. Honestly, for $100, right now this one's selling for $400 and this one's selling for $500. This one actually I bought like maybe 2 years ago as a gift for my wife, and now they have this one. So it's kind of hard to justify spending $400 on such old technology when you could just buy something for a little bit more. I mean, $500 is still a lot of money. Let's see what other pages I could load. Let's try loading this. Again, this one loads slightly faster. Let's try going to the MSN website. See if there's a difference. MSN.com. So it just takes an extra second longer with the iPad 2 just for web surfing. So it all depends. Again, if you end up getting the iPad 2, it might not be upgradable to the latest and greatest iOS's. Like when iOS 8 comes out, that may become an issue. So that's why it might be in your best interest to have a newer iPad, like the iPad Air. So how about testing Zoom? It's like when I look at the different displays, well, let's just look at Zoom itself. Zoom, you can barely tell a difference. This is slightly smoother. At times this can become choppy. Let's go to weather. Let's go to forecast. Oops, weather. So when I look at the two web pages, I don't really see. The other thing I want to compare was the retina display. When you have such a small screen, like 10 inches, for me personally, I don't have the best eyesight. They pretty much look the same to me. And you just zoom in. I really don't see the huge difference with retina display. Maybe if I can look for images. If I go to images like on Google, I'll check retina display wallpaper. Google, and I'll do retina display over here also. Sorry. Okay, so let's try something like, it's kind of strange that the images are slightly different. Retina display wallpapers. So let's try this one. I'm going to view image. So looking at it, even retina display, it's hard for me to see a difference. I guess this is a little blurrier, but it seems pretty sharp to me. And so it's hard to say if you're getting a lot more getting the retina display. Let's see if I can go to a different image. Again, it's all your preference. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I'm just, if you can tell a difference in this video, it's pretty hard. I'm recording with an iPhone 4S, so some of this is very limited. View image. View image. View image. Oops. Oops, that's not a retina display. This one does look pretty clear. So looking at this one does look a little fuzzier, but it's hard to tell. Let's zoom in. So just comparing zoom and retina display, yeah, it's hard to tell the difference between the performance and stuff. I can go to YouTube and do a test on YouTube also. Ready, set, go. Seems like this was more of an internet connection thing. This seemed to run a little faster. So let's see about looking at a video. So there's a new Angry Birds launch video. You can see the iPad 2 is still trying to load. And there we go. Let's try refreshing this. We'll do full screen for both. You can see there's no issues playing videos on YouTube. So overall, when you actually do test the iPad 2 versus the iPad Air, the performance is pretty comparable. Again, this is running iOS 6 versus iOS 7. We could look at maps as the last thing. We can try something simple like Disneyland. So I'll try both Disneyland. You can see that, oh, actually different locations, but you can see that moving around offers the same kind of performance, similar performance. Let's say let's try the White House. So I'm going to try the White House now. You can see it both loaded up pretty quickly. Both seem to run pretty much very similarly. So that's all. I just want to do a comparison video of the iPad 2 versus the iPad Air. There's some other things I can test. Let me see what other stuff I'm missing. Today I'll be comparing the camera on the iPad 2 with the camera on the iPad 4. So I'll be taking similar pictures and seeing how they differ. So here I'll try taking a picture of this thing over here. And when I look at it, this is with decent light. Not bad. Let's try taking the same picture essentially. Obviously the camera is a little quicker. And so when you look at these pictures, the camera on the old iPad 2 was barely, I think it's around 960 by 720 versus the 5 megapixel camera. And so you can see a graininess to the pictures, whereas this one's much more clear. So I can take another picture, maybe wish I had something with a little more contrast. So let's try taking one more picture. Oops. Do it horizontal. So again, the old rear camera was around 1 megapixel, and this new on the iPad Air, it's around 5 megapixel. So it'll become a concern if you want to develop pictures and photos. So if I go back to the images again, I do notice a difference in image quality. So that's something to consider when you're buying an iPad. If you're going to use it for taking photos, which you should already have like an iPhone or your own digital camera, but still the quality would be not that good for printing out and stuff with the iPad 2, whereas the iPad Air, technically speaking, you could use it to print it out to like a 4x6 or a 5x7. Yeah, so I can notice that there's a graininess to the pictures over here, whereas this one's much sharper. So that's all. I forgot to look into that. So I'm sure 720p video versus 1080p video will be an issue too. So I'll go to video. Well, Try to record this at the same time. Having some technical difficulties here. Oy vey. Now the camera. This isn't good. So I ran into some problems. My iPad 2 is having issues, so let's see if I just kill the camera, it'll fix it. And that fixed it. So it's recording roughly at the same time. Oops, covering the camera. On the iPad 2, it's getting a little choppy at times. We'll go down to the video and we'll play it. So it's recording roughly at the same time. Oops. So there is a quality difference. So if you're a videographer or a camera person, it's something to consider when getting the iPad 2 versus the iPad Air. So I just wanted to make a short video of the volume to see how strong the volume on the iPad 2 is versus the iPad 4. So I'm going to turn up the volume over here as best as I can. And then I'm going to play the video. This is on my iPad 2. Hi, this is the Alex Dude channel. I made this YouTube channel to... Then I'm going to try this over here. Again, I should turn up the volume all the way so you have a comparison. Hi, this is the Alex Dude channel. I made this YouTube channel to... So they're pretty much the same in terms of... Hi, this is the Alex Dude channel. I can't really tell which one's louder. Hi, this is this one's... I'm assuming the iPad Air is a little louder. Hi, this is the iPad seems slightly louder. Maybe it's just, you know, a placebo effect since they have two speakers over here. So, in terms of volume, I'm sure it sounds better for music. I don't have any free music that I can play. Let's see about classical music. Let me pause this and see if I can play some classical music to compare. So here's some classical music that I'll try playing with my iPad Air 2. Quality of the speaker seems similar to me. So we'll start first with the iPad 2. So now let's try this one. I really can't tell a difference. So you might be able to tell a difference, but basically the speakers seem about the same. iPad Air might have a slight advantage, so I just wanted to do that test. Let's try it from the start. Again, let's do this one first, the iPad Air. And now let's try the iPad 2. That's it.